Jewish guys that she goes out with only want things and stuff.
No, but she see, I wanted to address, I've heard this kind of thing before, and I want to address something.
Okay.
So can we, I don't want to like read the entire conversation that you had with her. Just kind of,
I didn't have a conversation. It was just her writing to me and me kind of responding with one sentences.
Right. So
just like explaining their behavior, I guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. You 1 second.
I can write it to you. I can read it to you. No, I obviously won't say the person's name.
Yeah.
It says, thanks for the episode. Learned about Orthodox women. I'm friends with a few and just found out one is a virgin. Whatever. As a secular woman, I thought it was odd because I wanted to wait until I was 20. Okay. Hold on. Okay. I find it fascinating the juxtaposition between the women described on your podcast and the Orthodox men I encountered. All of them were hypersexual, pushed sex way too fast, and the amount of hypocrisy were just astounding. To this day, I still do not understand the words and actions by a guy who was Orthodox, whom I briefly dated last summer. That experience made me swear off religious men. And I am a woman who was very pro-sex, but found that secular men on average do not act like those Orthodox guys, or how many married Orthodox men reach out to me on Facebook. It's astounding. Married, that's I'm not surprised about. We can also have a whole episode on why did half the religious community in New York support the anti-Semitic BLM. That's something else.
Say that again. What is it?
You want to join our podcast and have an episode about why half the religious community in New York supported BLM, which is actually not true. I don't think.
Yeah. Most of what she's saying doesn't seem to be true.
Yeah, it's not half, but a lot. I'm like, I wrote that. I'm like, it's not half, but there was a lot. It was not half. And I asked, how old was this guy? I said, if the guy was in his 40s and grew up religious, it can be a sexually repressed situation for him. He probably feels like a secular woman would be more cavalier with sex. That's what I wrote to her. Hence, they're just there for fun at the very least. Said the last one was 35 and twice divorced. He said first one didn't count because he got married at 21 and was pressured to marry his rabbi's granddaughter. And then I said sex in general is this weird thing in the frum world, especially for people who grew up that way. He expected the sex on the first date. Secular men do not, at least not in my experience. I'm like, and I wrote to her, in my 20s, I was still secular. There was just a phase where I just wanted fun. Granted, it was shortly after a 2.5-year relationship, and girls were fine with that. So I don't know what she's talking about. She said, this guy told me he sees me as his future wife. We had been talking on the phone for over a month because he had COVID and couldn't meet. It's one thing to want fun, of course, and just hook up. Nothing wrong with that. But when you go on dates and take it seriously, and you know the woman is not there just for fun, then that is messed up. The secular men I've dated, been in relationships with, for the most part understood that first date is too soon, and fifth date was too long to wait. And in the frum world, it's this polar opposite. A friend complained to me that this religious guy waited 5 dates just to kiss her, and then there are other frum guys who just want to hook up right away. And then I said, yeah, sounds like repression on the part of frum guys. So it's like extremes, And that's it. That was the end of the conversation.
There's something else that caught my eye that I wanted to mention. Hold on. I'm looking. Something about shiksas. Shiksas are for practice. Did you?
Oh, this other guy wrote to, this frum guy wrote to me.
No, she said that.
No. She did not say that. She did not say that. No. There's this other guy wrote to me, his whole thing. He goes, pickup artist, the whole pickup artist. Because I said, why can't we use pickup artist tactics, in shidduchim? Like not be pickup artists, but use a certain modality. And he said, PUA is a softer term for human connection of which without we don't really live life. And then he goes, shiksas are for practice means different things to different men, all depending on the madrega, but it's there to help us.
Okay. Now, can I begin addressing some of the things?
No. Can I just finish reading what he wrote? Not really a mere loophole. I don't think it's a b'diavad either. Don't forget that love and sex are intertwined, and God resides.
Explain what a b'diavad is.
B'diavad is like after the fact.
Yeah.
Don't forget that love and sex are intertwined, and God resides there more than anywhere else. Kamo shemarnu hachagda shel Pesach. So you read. Pharaoh knew that what he was doing went with the abstinence shtick. I don't know what he's referring to, but when the energy lingers, it's like chasing one's own tail, unhealthy.
Basically, when he caused a separation to be between the husbands and the wives, because he made a decree about the death of the male sons.
Yeah. So it says it's unhealthy, means just that. Ve'yada Elokim means just that. Too much God, not enough humanity. That's it.
So I wanted to first address a couple of things, okay?
Yeah.
For any wise guys out there, shiksas are not for practice. They're human beings, they're human women.
Yeah, exactly.
That you cannot harm them in any way.
Or as my father said,
You can't waste their time. You can't mislead them. You can't use them for anything. You can't do that to people.
Dude, I had a situation when I was 23.
And you shouldn't call them shiksas, really. I mean, it's not nice. It's funny.
This girl was very hurt.
But it's not nice.
This girl in England was very hurt when we did stuff, and then I told her I can't be with her afterwards.
Yeah, that's a dick move.
As a young schmuck, so whatever.
Yeah,
I'm just an old schmuck.
Well, no, you're not an old schmuck.
Yeah.
You're not old, dude. We're not old. Okay, and even when we get old in the when it comes to numbers, Rav Nachman said there's no such thing as an old man. Okay, so we're never old. Okay, we're eternal, which is the same as being young forever. No, but just serious. Okay, so now let's address what this lady was talking about. She's saying all these religious guys from the Orthodox community reaching out.
A few, not all.
I'm just giving a general feeling of what she's communicating. Okay.
Yeah.
You have these religious guys who are they're just looking for hookups and the kind of thing that it's the same. It's a very similar tone to how you hear, like I used to hear, like some of my father's friends, Russian guys, are like, oh, every time I go to a whorehouse, it's mostly Hasidim.
Whorehouse? You mean banya?
Whorehouse.
Oh my God.
That's what they're saying.
You just pulled a copy the tutti copy.
No.
Farrakhan of all Farrakhans.
I didn't, because that's not my statement. It's a statement that from others that I've heard, which I'm going to refute.
All right.
So I'm certainly not going to say that doesn't happen. Okay, but they want to make you think that it's only that you go to places like this, all you see is Hasidic guys with long payas, shuckling, davening mincha or something like that. That's the picture that they want to paint. Okay, what you're seeing.
You give me 15 seconds. I need to let this.
Oh, this is a bad time for a break, but okay.
No, it's not a break. I just need to let the cat inside the house.
All right, you can let the cat inside.
Sorry, I thought he was outside, but he's not.
By the way, when I said that it's not okay to trick shiksas, right, or to use them as practice, that's not I'm talking that's from the Torah.
I know.
The Torah, our instructions for life, God's will, does not allow for that.
Yeah.
So
when our friend D. West said, I once dated a shiksa who was really into Jewish men, she used to say shiksa for practice. And then he says, I didn't, she did. It was the South and it was a long time ago.
This is a very, very damaged person who needs help. She has issues. She should be married and have a happy life with children instead of wasting her time in this kind of thing. It's a pretty bad. It's a messed up thing to do to a person. Okay? So that it wasn't my personal woke virtue signaling saying that you shouldn't do this. That's the Torah. Okay, you're not going to find anywhere in Jewish law where it says it's okay to trick this girl or that girl or this guy or that guy, whether Jewish or not Jewish, or use them for anything.
Yeah.
Okay, even though a lot of Christians want to say that that's what the Talmud says. We should devote an episode to the most horrendous lies that some Christians say about the Talmud and what it actually says.
Yeah, we will.
All right, we should
do this with Stuyvesant because he's also knowledgeable, I guess.
well, okay, we'll see. We'll see if he's interested in that topic.
Yeah.
So basically, and then address each one of them, exposing them for the slander, the lie, and the evil that it is, and the intent behind it. So basically, so this guy or this lady was saying that you have these secular guys, I'm sorry, these religious guys, reaching out to her because they want to hook up. And listen, by definition, the person you're talking about is not religious.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to label them something, call them Masorti in a religious costume.
Yeah.
Okay, what does religious mean? You're talking about somebody from. Let's use the word from, or observant, a person who actually observes the laws. That's what an observant person is. It's not a difficult concept.
Yeah.
If they're reaching out to you looking for hookups, you're not dealing with an observant person. You're dealing with a guy who is in a culture, who grew up in a certain culture, which he obviously, when it comes to practical living, doesn't live up to, or is not interested, right? But he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to upset his parents or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but you can't call them religious or Orthodox. Remember, you know what that's like? Imagine, you go to some high school in the South, right? That all they care about is football.
Yeah.
Right? The football team represents the elite of the athletes in that area, right?
Yeah.
So when you have the football team, let's call that the Orthodox people.
Yeah.
That's the people who made the team.
Yeah.
And then you got the tryouts, right? Who never made the team. And those are the guys who are calling you for hookups.
Yeah.
So you got the guys who didn't make the team. Okay, but you can't call them the team. They're not part of the team. You can't call them Gators. They didn't make the team.
Yeah.
All right. Then obviously this metaphor has a lot of, it's not perfect by any, but just in this one concept. If you have these simple definitions, you have people who are successfully Orthodox. That means they follow the laws. And the law says that you can't call you for a hookup.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm married. Okay? So if somebody's doing that, they're obviously, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So these terms have to be established early, A guy wearing a costume, a guy wearing the jersey, right, of the team doesn't mean he's on the team.
I don't think they're just wearing a costume. I think some of these guys are Shomer Shabbat and
No. They play. They get together and they play football with their buddies. Two-hand touch. What some of the other ones. Flag football. They get together. They do reenactments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they're not part of the team.
Yeah.
They could be if they want to.
Yeah.
Anybody in the whole world could be. Jew or Gentile alike could be on the team. It's not exclusive. You just have to follow the rules.
Yeah.
You come to practice, you get better, you make the team. I'm not on the team. I'm claiming that I'm not on the team.
Yeah.
I'm not going to delude myself into thinking that I am.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I mean, sometimes I am. I've gotten thrown off a bunch of times, but I've made it too. I guess it depends. But when a person is doing something, you know what I mean? Like you have a guy who's a spaghetti advocate.
Yeah.
Who goes out for burgers. Mm-hmm. He's not a good spaghetti advocate. One might say he's not being a spaghetti advocate at all.
Yeah.
So this kind of shit needs to stop, man. This is slander.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The type of guys who are calling you to hook up don't represent the best, or they're not the examples of the Orthodox Jewish community. They're not even the majority. Okay? And the Hasidic guys who are seen at whorehouses are a very tiny amount of people.
Yeah.
Okay? But they stand out so much that they look like they're literally everyone.
Yeah.
a guy who looks like that and is found in that type of environment. Like if there was 50,000 Chinese dudes and one Hasidic guy, the only thing people are going to remember is that one Hasidic guy.
Yeah, of course.
So that's the primary thing that bothered me about this lady's attitude. And she spoke about it like so matter of fact, as if it was established fact.